what do you actually want? A better question could be, what do you actually like? And the reason I'm asking you this, and I want you to be able to think about this, is because in with how the world is functioning right now, with social media really being the foundation of every new trend, every new, you know, popular thing, there's so many people who constantly chase these new attractions or these new materialistic objects unconsciously, almost, where they buy things not because they like them, not because they want them, but because they want to fit in, because they think they like it, but in reality the only reason they like it is because everyone else does. And I wanted to talk about this because this is one thing I noticed as a result of social media. And if you know me, I'm not very fond of social media and how it's affected a lot of people, right? Myself included at one point. And so this is why it's important I speak about this, because I want you as the viewer to be able to hear this in case you're struggling with this right here. And what I'm referring to is how social media constantly promoting new things and having new trends is going to cause you to have a bias towards certain things. And one example of this could be about a year ago. I don't know if it's still going on, but about a year ago, when everybody was posting about getting a new Dodge Charger or Hellcat, right? And this is a good example. Just hear me out, okay? When social media started promoting getting a Dodge Charger or Hellcat, everybody wanted that. Every single person. I would walk through school. Oh, I want this car. Yo, bro, what's your dream car? I want this, right? You give it 3 months. Well, then now people wanted BMW M4s. 3 months later, now they want M3s. Then after that, now they want Porsches, right? And of course, I'm not a car person. I don't know everything about cars, but I do know a lot of these people who are saying this is their dream car or this is what they want, or they go and buy these things, aren't actually buying them because they truly like them or want them, but they're buying them because they see so many other people liking them that they catch a liking of it themselves, right? And this is why so many people, no matter what they buy, no matter what they experience in life, will never feel content because of the comparison that you face seeing other people get things that you think you might like, right? And this is, again, why I asked you at the beginning of the video, what do you like? What do you want? Because if you're on social media, or if you're around a lot of wealthy people, or if you're around anyone in general, you're going to kind of adapt to what they like as well. And there's so many people walking around right now who are so blessed, who have so much great things in their life, that don't even understand the value of what they have, because instead of being grateful for what they have, or having a positive view on what they've been able to achieve or what they've been able to be handed down by, their parents or some sort of guardian, they walk through life thinking they've never got enough. They never feel content because they liked one thing at one point, but now they like the next thing, right? And going back to the car analogy I told you, it's the same thing of how, everyone wanted a Hellcat at one point. Well, what about those people who wanted a Hellcat because they saw people liking it, but 2 months after buying it, now everyone wants an M4. Well, now that person wants an M4 too. And they're, instead of thinking about what they actually want, and instead of buying what they like to feel satisfied and feel content with what they've purchased, they instead just chase all of these trends. They say, hey, I want this, hey, I want this, hey, I want this. That's all they do, right? And that's so many people nowadays, because I don't think they do this because they're intentionally trend chasing, but I think they're doing this because they've never just sat back and thought about what they truly wanted. And this is one thing that I struggled with at one point, and this is why I'm talking about this, because I'm sure so many people struggle with this. And even if you don't think you struggle with it, it's possible you might. And I want you to be able to realize these things, right? I remember when I would be on social media all day. I was close to purchasing my first car, saving up money. I was 16 years old, a month away from my 17th birthday, and I really wanted a car. And, before that point, I wanted a Mercedes. Not because I'm a car guy. Again, I know nothing about cars, but just because I liked how they looked. But once I would scroll on social media and I looked up Mercedes Well, guess what? You look up a certain topic, well, now that topic's all over your feed, right? So then I started getting videos about other cars, like the Hellcats, and then I was like, maybe I should get a Hellcat. And I really was thinking to myself, hey, maybe I should get a Dodge Charger or a Hellcat. But then I would see the M4 videos. I'm like, maybe I should get an M4. And I didn't know what I actually wanted, okay? Until it was 1 week before my 17th birthday, and I found this car on OfferUp. It was a used BMW 528i, and I really liked it. And I was like, hey, I really like how this looks. I went and checked it out at 10 p.m. on a random weekday, right? It was 10 p.m. And this dude let me come check it out at his house, and me and my dad went over and we checked it out and ended up buying it right there, and I loved the car. A month after buying the car, I was so happy, but a month after I bought that car and experienced it, well, guess what? I started seeing the videos about the 2024 BMWs, or sorry, 2023, this would have been 2023 BMW M4, M3, and I'm like, wow, I want that instead. I shouldn't have bought this car. And I realized that I kind of strayed away from this satisfaction that I had from this car that I worked hard to buy. And I ended up just thinking in my head that it wasn't enough, that I needed better, that I needed newer. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, hey, I want a new car, man. Like I want this brand new BMW. Of course it's a nice one. But the more I thought about it, I realized I'm like, I'm not a car guy. I don't even care. Like, I don't want that car. I want the attention it would bring because it's popular right now, right? And after that moment, that's kind of what I've applied to everything, and what I've come to realize, plagues so many people, is the fact that they're so caught up in comparison between other people, which of course it's hard to control, especially on social media when all you're seeing is just other people doing well and other people bragging about what they have. But in a world full of these people who flex what they have and are always trend chasing, why don't you just take a step back and say, hey, what do I actually want? And this is one thing I had to think about too. I know, I've thought about this with houses. Me and my girlfriend, we're always talking about when we move out, once we, get solid careers and what we're trying to do. Hey, what house would you want? And I remember, when we would visit Los Angeles, like near West Hollywood, and we'd go up near those super, super nice houses, I'd always think to myself, like, I want this. Like, I want that house. But the more I thought about it, I was like, hey, I don't actually want those houses. I don't actually need a huge house. What satisfies me? And the more I thought about it, the more I come to realize I'm a minimalistic, simple person. I don't really want a giant house. I would, if I could choose any house, I would choose a small, comfortable home in the city of Los Angeles, in South Los Angeles, Southwest Los Angeles to be specific, or San Diego, that overlooks the city, because that's what I like, because that's what I was raised in, right? Not overlooking the city, but I was raised in a small home in southern Los Angeles, right? And that's what I've become accustomed to, and that's what I like, right? And so this concept flows within everything. And that's why I just felt like it'd be so important to come on here and spread this message, because I know there's some of you out there, and again, there's nothing wrong with, dealing with the struggle. I deal with this too, where you're constantly comparing yourself. You never feel like you have enough. There's so many people out there who they just need to realize, and you may need to realize yourself, right? And it's okay that your comparison maybe isn't out of not having enough, or not being blessed enough, or not having enough opportunity, but you're only comparing yourself and feel like you don't have enough because you don't know what you want, or you don't really know what you like. What do you really like? Sit down in your room, take a piece of paper. This is what I did. I took a piece of paper, sat down in my chair here on my desk right here, and I just wrote down what I actually wanted. That's what I did. And ever since that moment, I stopped comparing myself as much. Of course, I'll still have comparisons every now and then, but I stopped comparing myself as much. I stopped, I stopped hungering, or what's the word I'm looking for? I stopped wanting, I guess, these giant new things that provide no extra value than what typically would. For example, like, I stopped dreaming about buying the biggest home in the world where only me and my girlfriend would live, and then there would be only like 80 spare rooms that, a homeless person might be living in. I don't even know because, like, I don't need all those rooms. And I started thinking about, hey, what do I actually want? I want this. I want a small, comfy home. I want a nice new car. I don't care about the brand. I'm not a car person. I want my freedom. I prefer freedom over money. Right? And that's when I stopped comparing myself as much. That's when I realized what I truly liked. And that's what helped me to understand, hey, I'm blessed. I'm doing all right. Right? I don't need to beat myself up over the fact that I'm not a millionaire at age 18. Because on social media, all they say is you got to be a millionaire and have a penthouse in Miami and drive a brand new BMW. But it's okay. Everyone's journey is different, and mine's no different than yours. Right? I've had struggles, you've had struggles. And ultimately, we're all human. We all bleed the same. We all deal with struggles eventually in our life. Some may deal with more than others. But the point is, find out what you truly value. What do you actually like? What do you actually want? Through finding this out, you'll understand there's nothing to beat yourself up over. You're not lost. You're not crazy in the head. You just need to think a little bit more about what you value. And after that, you're going to see a huge shift in your life. And that's just a message I want to spread today. So those are just my thoughts right there.